welcome to another episode of Made in Sullivan County, where we visit places that you ask yourself, I wonder what they make in that building. Well, today we're at a great, unique facility. Here's Jesse to tell us more about it.
My name's Jesse Cheers.
So my name's Matt Kyle.
My name is Aaron Parlier, and I am co-owner here at Appalachian Bouldering Center and also at Center 45 Climbing and Fitness in Boone, North Carolina.
I'm a co-owner here at Appalachian Bouldering Center, and I also work for Rivers Way, which is a local nonprofit here in Bristol, Tennessee. My family owns Mountain Sports Limited, and so I've worked there since the day I was born to pretty much now still. I do the marketing for them as well and continue to do that. Love having that connection with my family and a family-owned and operated business, and taking what I've learned there and bringing it over to Appalachian Bouldering Center.
I met Jesse, 5-6 years ago, and we met here in Bristol. We're both rock climbers, and that's how we met. He came over to my house one night. I built the home wall before the gym was here because it was about the only place us climbers could get together, and we started climbing together.
So my background with climbing is about 7 years ago. I bought a guidebook for up at Grayson Highlands State Park. Wasn't really sure what bouldering was. You know, I'd heard of climbing, and I already had a love for Grayson Highlands with going up there as a kid, picking blueberries with my granddad, going up hiking, doing overnight camping, backpacking trips with my dad and brother. So for me, going to Grayson, I loved going up there. I was like, oh, they got bouldering. Let's go see what that's about. Went to the park. I can remember the first day I tried bouldering for the first time, and I was like, oh, this is something I really want to dig deeper into. And within a span of 4 or 5 months, I really was like invested pretty heavily and couldn't get enough of it. And fast forward, you know, bouldering is a great sport, but it's something easy to get into. It's hard to master, and I think that's why I'm still really hooked, because, you know, as you get stronger, there's always something harder to get on, and the stronger you get to, it opens more climbs up.
You know, I just had a crazy idea one day. You know, I'm not sure where it came from, but I had a thought pop into my head that you should open a climbing gym, and it was kind of strange to me. And I had been climbing with Aaron and Jesse down at the gym in Boone, North Carolina. Aaron runs that gym, and we went out to dinner after we climbed. And I just said, you know, guys, I had this crazy thought that I should open a climbing gym in Bristol, and I don't know what it means. I never thought about that. I got a job, and both of their eyes widened, and they said, well, let's talk some more. And I think they had been discussing a little bit between them. So then, yeah, when I brought it up, it just kind of progressed from there. Conversations started, and then plans began to be made, and things just kind of went from there.
I first got involved with outdoor rock climbing before ever going into an indoor climbing gym. But while I was in the military, that really, for me, lit the spark that became something more whenever I got to spend time in an indoor climbing gym and really see what the climbing community was about. And coming back into Southwest Virginia, there wasn't a gym. You could go to Lynchburg, you could go into North Carolina, Asheville's had climbing gyms, but I got to be on the ground for a really nice indoor climbing gym out of Blacksburg that opened up while I was in college at Virginia Tech. I went on to graduate school in Boone at Appalachian State, and there was no gym there. So we decided to open up a gym in Boone, North Carolina. And it was a really small gym. It still is a very small gym and a really small climbing community. But that climbing community was incredibly excited to have a place to kind of use as a hub and use it as a community meeting place, and also just in general, like a really great place. It rains 50% of the time in Boone, so having a place to come in and climb on rainy or snowy days. So seeing those two as a template, and a successful template, hearing interest from Matt, hearing interest from Jesse in opening up a gym here in the Tri-Cities, here in Bristol, I never had a hesitation that it was going to be a successful business model, that the gym itself was going to be successful. The community here is 3 to 4 times in order of magnitude larger than Boone, North Carolina. And we've known about the climbing community here for a long time, been a part of it. And really, I mean, it was a no-brainer that I wanted to, work with these fellas in getting a place off the ground. The most important part is the folks that you work with, and it's a really great team. And we already work together through the Central Appalachia Climbers Coalition, so.
I've been here in Bristol for probably 13 years now, and I've been a climber for longer than that. And I'm primarily climb outdoors, but there's never been a gym here. We would always travel to Boone, maybe travel to Asheville if it's raining, or if we need to do a training session. Couldn't get outside, and so, all the climbers here in this area, really in this region, have always known the need for a climbing gym. We all kind of hoped someone would open one, but it just never happened. So, yeah, I mean, the need has always been there from the climbing community. And then when the opportunity came my way through meeting these guys like Aaron and Jesse, who had the similar thought and vision, conversations began, and that's how it really started.
Opening a climbing gym a lot of it is finding the right building. And so for a while we rode around bikes all over Bristol. And actually, funny enough, we were told about a building in Executive Park. And so we rode up to what is now the Turtleson building. And we're like, well, this is a pretty good building, but I'm not sure if it has tall enough ceilings. Well, then we looked at the address and realized, oh, wait, this is not the right location. Got back on our bikes, rode down the hill and looked at this. And I mean, it was something what felt out of a movie. We saw this building. We're like, this is kind of perfect for a climbing gym. At the time, it was Superior Unlimited, and they did like upholstery. And we were really excited that the ceiling height matched what it was. It was an open warehouse, which allowed us to come in here and get creative with our wall designs, and kind of gave us that blank canvas we needed to build out a proper bouldering gym here in the Tri-Cities.
So it's a great workout, but also it's really mentally challenging. Bouldering is a little different from other forms of rock climbing in that you really have to figure the problems out. And so you can see the problems behind me. In bouldering, we call them problems because they really are a puzzle. It's a puzzle that you solve with your body. But it is really mentally engaging, so you have to think a lot. So there's a physical aspect, the mental aspect, but then it's also very social. And in general, rock climbing is a social sport, but bouldering so much more than other forms, in my opinion, because you have a lot of climbers together, gathering around the same challenge, figuring it out together, helping each other out, having fun. There's just a really big social component. So yeah, it's a great activity. It's great for you. It connects you to other people. And it's just a really fun sport or activity.
So the ceilings in here are 15 to 20 feet. They kind of taper from the edges of the building to the center, which is great for bouldering. It's a great height. You really don't want to get above 16 feet. Then you start really dealing with ankle injuries and other injuries associated with larger falls. So,
yeah, coming into an indoor climbing gym like this, there's always going to be something that has set or has been created to climb on by the setting team that is really easy to climb up, and all of the grades leading all the way up to some of the most difficult things that you could climb. There's something for everybody around, and even if you're afraid of heights, this right here is a great place to come, kind of challenge that fear of heights and challenge yourself.
So on Tuesday mornings, we spend 9 hours coming in here, working the problems and setting new things. So each week when we open at 3 o'clock, those climbers come in, they get new problems to try.
We have members who come here 3, 4, 5 times a week, and we really make a big effort to have something new for them every time they come. So every week you'll come in, there will be 20 or I'd say 18 to 22 new problems for members. And we do that every week. So 4 weeks, in the span of 4 weeks, the gym is completely new. All the problems are brand new. So even if you come here 4 or 5 days a week, you're gonna have something new to climb every time you come.
There's something meant for people that have never climbed before. In fact, we get new climbers almost daily. And, a big misconception is that, climbing's for a particular age but really climbing's for everyone. It's really good. Our grading system is an American grading system of bouldering called the V scale. For that reason, you'll see a V on the problem followed by a number. The lower the number, the less difficult the climb. That being said, everything's meant to be challenging. So we have V0 to V10 set in here. The V0s are meant to be that less challenging, kind of help you get your bearings, kind of get a good introduction to climbing. But as that number goes up, so like the jump from V0 to V1 is felt, from V1 to V2. So climbers, when you come in here, we live in a chalky environment. Chalk just dries your hands out, improves your grip. The better your grip, the better you're gonna hold on to particular holds, and also the way you kind of cut up your hands. If you catch a hold and slide a little bit, that's what gets a flapper. And so you want to keep your hands dry and improve that grip. Don't want to wear gloves. No, in fact, your first few times climbing, until you kind of build up your calluses on your hand, it's pretty abrasive on your hands. And so we give tape out in here, and if you can kind of tape up before you get some of those cuts on your hands, it'll greatly improve your skin health. And half of climbing is your skin management, especially as you're getting into it and have to build those calluses up. That first month is pretty abrasive on your hands. So the CACC, it's the Central Appalachia Climbers Coalition. If you're a climber, I urge you to get involved. We really work to provide sustainable access for outdoor climbing areas.
So I got out of the military in 2008 and came back here I came back to Southwestern Virginia, where I grew up, just outside of Marion in Atkins, Virginia. And whenever I got back, I was already really into rock climbing, and I was excited to get back into Appalachia, knowing it's such a great place to find outdoor, rock formations. And there wasn't a whole lot of information that you could find, public information. Really just starting to hunt around and finding some spectacular outdoor climbing areas that weren't well known, but you could see climbing was growing as a sport and growing as an outdoor recreational activity. And these coalitions are really important in helping care for these outdoor areas, helping just negotiate, forming stewardship and trail days, trash cleanup days, some of these efforts that just help us be stewards of the outdoor places that we really care for. And we didn't have that in place, so sometimes you just got to start it on your own and start that ball rolling on your own. And me and one of the co-founders here at Appalachian Bouldering Center, Brad Mathieson, we just decided to start it one day and see where it goes. And we're going to have the 10th anniversary Stewardship Day out of Grayson Highlands State Park this year.
There are lots of climbing areas, but the infrastructure is not there to support a lot of climbers visiting. So parking lots, trail systems, just all signage, just all the little things that make it easier to visit and user friendly. We really work on that stuff to get it up, get it posted, and make sure it's safe and accessible for the public. And we've done a ton of work, whether it be at Grayson Highlands State Park, Break Center State Park. I mean, the list goes on and on. We've had a lot of good success stories about opening climbing areas in this region. So we're nonprofit. Any donations that come in to us goes straight into providing access to outdoor climbing areas. And we're a small board and a small nonprofit, but I like to think we get a lot done for our size. Bouldering is different from sport climbing or trad climbing. You know, they're all forms of rock climbing. You're all all forms, you're climbing rocks. But bouldering is different in that you don't really need any equipment other than shoes. You don't have a harness, you don't have ropes, you don't have gear. So it's really a simple way to get into climbing. All you need is a crash pad and a pair of shoes. But yeah, you're not climbing as high as with ropes. So with ropes, often you'll climb, 70, 80, 90, 100 feet up. You have the safety protection of ropes and harness and all those systems. Bouldering, generally you're climbing 10 to 15 feet high. So you're not going as high, but the movement is a lot more difficult. You think about sport climbing with ropes, it's more of an endurance thing because you're going such a greater distance. Bouldering, each individual move is pretty difficult. It's pretty challenging. And so, yeah, it's more problem solving. It's a lot shorter. You're not climbing up as tall, but the movement is this individual moves are a lot more difficult and harder to figure out than other forms of climbing.
Always have a deep admiration for this region. I didn't realize how special this place was until I left. And I think a lot of people are the same way. Whenever you grow up in central Appalachia, for me, I always thought it was great living here in the mountains, with streams and hollers and rocks and everything. I loved it, but I didn't think it was necessarily special until I left for the military. And I pretty well knew about halfway through serving in the Army that I wanted to come back in some capacity after seeing a lot of other landscapes and then getting to climb elsewhere. Yeah, the climbing around here within a 2-hour radius is honestly about as good as you could ask for. There's year-round climbing. You can have spring, summer, fall, winter climbing areas. And if it's raining in one place, the weather pattern on the other side of the ridge is going to be a little bit different. But it's also the type of rock that exists in a 2-hour radius is really varied. You can have, granitic, granite outcrops, some of the best southern sandstone that I've ever climbed on. Grayson Highlands is a wild kind of volcanic rhyolite. It's like the opposite of what you would imagine like the Yosemite granite would be. So it just used to be lava flows flowing over the surface of the earth, and they cooled into big boulders. And then just a bunch of really weird and varied things in between those rock types. From Boone, which is about an hour and a half, all the way up to Breaks Interstate, that's a little closer to 2 hours. When I say you've got about a lifetime's worth of climbing and exploration in this area, I mean it. Yeah, I haven't ran out of new rocks or unclimbed rocks or really neat places to go hunting for rocks. I haven't ran out of that. And Hidden Valley's right in our backyard for sport climbing, Linville Gorge for multi-pitch, and traditional climbing. Yeah, you've got it all.
Yeah, so we felt the need for a intro to bouldering class. So that class is meant for folks who are within, just started climbing within the past 6 months. It goes over a lot of technique. It goes over language. There are a lot of terms that if you're not in that climbing world, they sound foreign. And so kind of help get you familiarized with climbing, with the sport of climbing, like what you need, kind of the direction if you want to improve. And it's a great sport for everyone. And as you get more and more into climbing, you'll realize that it is as much strength based as it is like thought process. There is a mental component to figure. We call them problems, and there very much is problem solving when you come in here. You might be strong enough to do a problem, but do you have the technique that'll help get you to the top?
The beauty of Appalachian Bouldering Center is that we can really promote the CACC. So we've got a lot of events that basically get people into climbing. I think we provided 5 events last year at local climbing areas like Grayson Highlands and Breaks Interstate Park, where you can just show up. You don't need anything. We'll provide the gear, we'll provide the instruction. Board members will be there to climb with people, and that's a great way for somebody to get into climbing if they've never done it or they don't know, what gear to use or what to do. And it's great to have this place, Appalachian Bouldering Center, because we can promote those events that the CACC is putting on.
Yeah, so if you're coming climbing for the first time and you're not sure like how to dress, think about, oh, I'm going to go to an exercise class, think I'm going to go out hiking for the day. Generally I wear some, pants that I can get mobile with. Their flexibility is a good thing, so if you have restrictive apparel, then it might hold you back a little bit. So if you're looking for climbing gear, footwear, if you're looking for climbing shoes, harnesses, bouldering pads, we definitely send people over to Mountain Sports Limited. We definitely want people to shop local. We're a local business and understand that need. Climbing shoes, you really want a very fitted shoe. You don't want a lot of room in the toe or the heel. As you notice, as you walk around this gym, we got a lot of small footholds, and if there's a lot of play, wiggle room in that shoe, it's going to be harder to edge in on that toe. So climbing shoes in particular, it's a great thing to try on in person. So for that reason, we definitely point people over to Mountain Sports Limited. Yeah, so our 2-year plan, we definitely want to get things going. We've definitely gotten our operations a lot more dialed in since opening and kind of learning the needs of our local community here. So one thing we've had people asking out about the intro to bouldering class, and we've started that. We also want to start a youth team as well as like an adult bouldering league that'll allow people to come together, make new friends within the community, make new climbing partnerships, and ultimately just kind of help build that community.
We put a big focus, this is a new climbing community. There are a lot of climbers who have been climbers for a long time, but I would say the majority of people that we have coming through our doors are new to rock climbing. They've never done it, or they've done it just a couple of times. So we really focus on providing a friendly atmosphere, because bouldering can be intimidating if you don't know what you're doing. You're kind of, when you climb, it's almost like you're on stage in front of a lot of other people. So it's a little intimidating. So we really, really try to create an atmosphere that's welcoming, whether you're beginner or advanced, been doing it for years, and provide instruction, make people feel comfortable so that they can learn and, introduce them to bouldering.
Being able to come into a climbing gym where the intention is to make it safer and climb around people who can inspire you to try harder, to kind of push yourself. That's a huge outlet that I didn't necessarily have when I was young. And I think, this is such a huge thing to get into at a young age, to develop those friend groups, and to be active just in general and to have fun being active.
To protect our kind of membership base, we do not offer groups, or as well as we don't offer birthday parties. That being said, we have offered groups, larger groups who have contacted us, and we do them around our normal membership hours. If you're under the age of 16, your parent must be here, your legal guardian must be here for the entire time of that climbing session. We definitely encourage new climbers. In fact, people come in daily that have never climbed before. That first time you come in, it might feel a little intimidating, but to help with that, we want everyone to feel welcomed here and realize that everyone's gone into a gym for the first time, and their first time climbing, you'll come in and it's a lot to learn. It's a little overwhelming, but we want to help with that experience and keep you coming back and get you to fall in love with climbing as much as we do. So for that reason, when you come in the gym, we're going to give everyone that comes in for the first time a walkthrough orientation. But if you're completely new to the sport, we're going to spend that extra time going through all the details about climbing to really help enhance that experience for you.
We've had a warm welcome from both the climbing community and the community of Bristol. Like I said, climbers have been really wanting a gym for a long time. And so, right when we opened up, we had a line out the door on our opening day of rock climbers, because they were just so excited to have a place here local that they could go and climb. And then, the reception from Bristol, whether it be the city of Bristol, Tennessee, other local businesses, just really everyone we've come into contact have really supported us, and they think this is a great thing for Bristol and just another opportunity for people to enjoy Bristol and a reason to come to Bristol.
So one of our main things we were excited about opening about this climbing gym is that, you know, we all love outdoor climbing, and we all spend our time and all really became friends climbing outside in our surrounding areas. And for that reason, you know, we realized there's so many good climbing opportunities here in Northeast Tennessee and Southwest Virginia. And so we really want to share that with people. Not only, you know, we want them to get into climbing, but we also want them to love our surrounding area and realize, like, it's pretty unique that not only is there a gym here, but there's also, I can take these skills I've learned in the gym and take them outside. And so we're hoping we can foster that, you know, the skills you learn in here to take outside and be more comfortable when you do get on real rock.
Climbing in general was, it was a really important kind of aspect of mental health. Coming back from deployment, that was something that I was able to, you know, really get a nice physical and mental combination going that really helped me kind of get back into a community, get back into a social outlet. And I don't know how or what would have done a better job than climbing in the community that I got to be a part of.
And we didn't really know this. We created this gym. We just wanted to make the best gym that we can make. And obviously we're all experienced climbers, but we've really had positive feedback from people from all the way in Northern Virginia to Knoxville to Asheville that say, hey, this is one of the best climbing gyms in the region, if not the best. I think one positive of Appalachian Bouldering Center is we really focus on bouldering here. It's what we do. You know, we don't have ropes. We don't do many other things outside of bouldering. So as far as bouldering and bouldering facilities, I really feel like we're one of the best in the entire region.